'Cause I don't know what you got, and I don't have a clue. Standing, yeah, I be loving you.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. We recording. I'm recording. I'm ready. And I'm recording. Son.
Are you ready?
Rasta got soul.
And we'll get taken down. I even wanted to play with the Suburban Bliss song to open up.
Reggae music rocking my boat. How will we be taken down? I'm singing. My singing is not that good.
You'll be part of the Suno training later. Did you see that story?
I saw
wild
that.
behaviors. Wild things are happening in the internet right now.
I saw it, yeah. So some
Credo Vid Daniels was found shaking in the corner.
Shaking. My man was like, damn, they catching up. Everybody's figuring out. Rasta got soul. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm singing Fantan Moja because we got the news this week that he passed away. And it just reminded me of the song.
But Rasta man never die.
That's it. I went and I was listening to that song. When was it? Day for yesterday? Day for yesterday? I was listening to it and I was like, man, let me check it. And I was like trying to think, what other songs of his do I know? And I realized like that's the only one I know. I don't know. There's probably some reggae heads out there that are like, what? You don't know Rasta got body? And stuff like that. But that's the only one I know. And what a tune. Rasta got soul. Reggae music rocking my bones. My bones. It's never getting old.
What?
Reggae music more and more. And more. I mean, we also got news that South African actor Seputla.
Oh my God.
I don't know how to say his name, Philip.
Just a place to go.
Please say it, Philip.
Huh?
Since you're, please, I tried. You may take over and say his name.
Seputla Sepogodi.
That's what I was saying.
No, and you kept stopping.
Yeah, because I was working it out as I go. And you were not encouraging me. You were stopping me.
You wanted me to Johnny 5 apples that and so on just passed away. Are you mad?
Anyway, yeah, sad news this week. But anyway, the show will go on. Let's do what we normally do. Phil, are y'all
good to go?
Listeners, are y'all
Good to go.
haters, are y'all
Good to go.
ops, are y'all
Good to go.
Thomas Mapfumo, are you
Good to go.
sound of it?
Let me hear a drum play.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one more again to another episode of your favorite podcast. These boys got soul. Reggae music rocking our bones. Our bones. We back again. My name is Danny, that guy, aka Denias, aka Denford Wegumaraini, aka Denimbi, my life, your entertainment, aka call me Messi, the Messi of podcasting. What? We are watching levels of goatitude that have never before seen in sport. AKA
Not since the last time Argentina won and they were allowed to win on a handball. As officiating being on the Argentinian side.
Yeah, look, goats will always have people who are looking for excuses. It is what it is. Sometimes when you're faced with the bright, shining light of the goatness, you have to find a way to dim that light.
Exactly. And when Baphomet faces you, what? You know what I'm saying? As Winky D is seeing now, sometimes you're too much of a goat and people start questioning where you get your power from.
Serious
discussion. there's a serious discussion right now. It's raging in WhatsApp and Facebook groups right now.
Yeah, no, I saw it.
Man's has switched over to the dark side.
I saw it. I was like, wait, but anyway, it's okay. We'll get into it. I wasn't.
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
I'll come back to it. In fact, yeah, I'll come back to after the intro. And he's the unmistakable, the irrefutable, the unquestionable, the undeniable. I have my papers able. Phil Jara gave him the big boss, but gave feeds up P, Sexington Lovo, Filthy Phil, DJ Mkaradi, and of course, Shabri Tango Drink. I've been bumping into a lot of our listeners out here, Dan. We're doing big things, so it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Shout out. Are the listeners?
Someone said they sound smart. Someone opted my DM and said, yo, I sound so smart regurgitating you guys' talking points. At party. Like, where's the money? She's like, oh, don't worry. It'll be sent soon. And I didn't believe it. But Dan, I've sent you a link here. I just want to send you a link to something because I was convinced it was AI.
Yeah.
Until I dug a little bit further, and I want to get your live reaction to this.
Okay. Let me.
Please click on the link I just sent you. Open it and then describe it to the listeners.
No, I saw this already. So
okay.
All right.
Okay,
we got big nigga burgers. Top place. No, I like it.
Okay, so explain what you're seeing, Dan. Please describe it for our listeners so they understand.
Phil has just sent me an Instagram link to a place called Big Nigga Burgers, which is
okay. Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I take
what kind of place would name the company that? Where is this place, Dan?
It's in Argentina.
Oh, word! Wait, how do they spell nigga? Just maybe it's like a Spanish thing, you know.
Well, the good news is there's no hard R here. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it's the rapper nigga.
Yeah. No, I mean, look. Obviously, this is obviously
Is it owned by a big black man? Is that?
I have no idea. I don't have any of that context. But the funniest thing about this, right?
It looks like it's owned by a white guy, and the reason they called Big Nigga Burgers is because the buns are black.
I mean, it makes sense. It's probably a mistranslation of Argentinian. You know, the little known language.
And it also makes sense because you know what? When I think about a country that would greenlight an operational business called Big Nigga Burger that has ads that say, "Do you want this big nigga in your mouth?"
Here we go. Okay.
Have you tried our big nigga meat?
See, here's a story. Don't judge a name until you know the story. A burger restaurant in Argentina went viral worldwide because of its controversial name. To understand the story behind the headlines, I sat down with the owners. Yeah. Because I'm slightly darker skinned than other Argentinians, they used to call me nigra.
Okay, you know, he's not making it. Okay, you actually proving the point. You're doing it, my guy. You're proving the point.
Very nice.
Oh God. You know what? And you know what? This to me, for me personally, I was shocked because after World War II, no one would associate Argentina with racism.
You know, I've tried to say this on this podcast before, and I'll try and say it again. This is obviously messed up, but why do I care? I've never been to Argentina. I'm never going to go to Argentina. I'm never going to go to the people there must care. If they don't, hey, look, here we are. You're actually giving them what they want by showing them all this publicity. I'm sure their sales have been through the roof because of all you outraged people. Leave them alone. Don't give them. They're rage baiting y'all. This is professional rage baiting.
For me, it's not rage baiting. I think it's just kind of proof. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like rage baiting should only go so far as it's allowed. And I feel at a certain point in a functional economy that cares about how other cultures are viewed, how other cultures will respond, someone in the appropriate office would have been like, Magusofarisa,
what do you mean office? Like government office or what?
Exactly. Regulation, tourism, food and health, somebody.
You think so?
Like, yo, change your name to Big Black Burgers.
Do you think if someone in Zimbabwe, for example, they created a fast food chain and they used a slur from another culture, right? Let's say
okay, which culture?
Let's say some of the slurs related to lentils that exist for Latin Americans. Do you think that the Zimbabwean government would get in touch with that small business? I highly doubt it.
I do think a consulate would definitely get in touch with the government.
I highly doubt it. The consulate.
I've seen them.
Which
I've seen
consulate?
them. I've seen. Well, okay. Let's be specific with your slur. Which exact slur?
I don't know. Phil, you know me. I don't know slurs. I don't know slurs. I don't have them in my lexicon.
Of course.
Anyway, my point is, and this is such a silly thing for us to be talking about on this podcast. What I want to say is,
exactly, and we tackle real issues.
The world has become so rage baity. Everything is rage bait. Everything from movies, people are deliberately trying to make the most. It'll make you as angry as possible because they feel like that's what's going to get us the views we want. Literally, Twitter is a cesspool of people trying to get as many people enraged as possible so I can get as many retweets. It's just. And
I really had to start blocking people, bro.
And this is clear. Even you can just see from their social media strategy. This is clear rage bait, bro. Ignore. Unless this is in your neighborhood, then go and go and show your anger directly in person. Otherwise, ignore because that's exactly what they want. Anyway,
Rasta got so.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, let's do the show. What were we talking about? What do we normally do?
After we do the introduction,
you distracted me by sending me nonsense, Philip. All right, let's start off by celebrating some Zimbabweans and actually Africans doing big things. There's a lot to talk about this week. Actually, in fact, we missed 2 weeks, so there's a lot. So I'm gonna go through them quite quickly.
We missed 2 weeks or 1 week.
We missed 1 week, so there's 2 weeks worth of stuff to go through. So first of all, we got big news this week.
But before we start that, sorry, we're gonna start on a somber note. I don't know if you guys noticed and you guys saw it. Going forward, this is going to be the modus operandi. We've made our demands very clear. And for you that fail to adhere to them, these are the repercussions. No money, no episode. We're not operating on a rolling basis. Okay? If Dan doesn't receive your X amount rather X figure with 37 cents surcharge,
everything's gone
going
bad.
dark.
Everything's gone
Dan, you see me, I'm on camera with a do-rag. Have you ever seen me wear a do-rag before, Dan? This is how dire the situation is. I'm trying to cosplay as a skr right now.
Listen, guys, we appreciate the people that have sent through money this week. Someone sent on PayPal. I don't know how we're going to. Guys, I don't know if you've been missing the memo. We do not have access to that money.
You might as well have just thrown that money down a wishing well.
But no, it's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, currently what we are doing, if you would like to show your appreciation for this show, you're welcome to send us an EcoCash. That's all. If you need the number, just DM. Zimra, if you're watching, these are gifts. These are gifts from within Zimbabwe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, celebrating Zimbabweans and Africans doing big things across the world. This week, the Recording Academy, aka the Grammys, sent out their invitations for their class of 2026. In other words, new musicians or people in the music industry who were invited to join the Grammys, or rather to join the Recording Academy. What this means is that they will be able to vote for future musical wins. They get access to, I guess they get stuff, perks. I don't know what perks come with being part of the Academy.
You get to attend events. You can attend the Grammys if you are shortlisted.
You get to attend the Grammys? Because...
Well, you have to find your way there. But yeah, you can get a ticket.
I mean, just the 2026 class has 4,000 invitations.
Yeah, no, but as I said, you have to find your way there. So not everyone can go.
All right, fair enough. Okay. So of those 4,000, there are 4 Zimbabweans that I came across. There might be more, but these are the ones that I know. So when I first saw that, damn, 4 Zimbabweans? Oh, that's crazy. What? We taking over. Then I saw that it was out of 4,000. I was like, oh. I mean, it's still, still 0.1%, but still dope. The 4 Zimbabweans who are now part of the Recording Academy and will be influencing what future Grammy winners will be include Eddie Hatichke.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Eddie. He's the executive director of the Music in Africa Foundation. Shout out to Zimbabwean Asha Nyambi, who's a prolific writer for I suppose at this point for multiple publications. Shout out to Managing Director for Empire Publishing Africa. Former guest. He was on the podcast, right? Munya Chanetsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had Munya before. Shout out to Munya. Munya, cool peoples. And Joburg-based sound engineer Rifi Wacho. I was trying to see if there's any other recognizable African names, but it's a very long list, as you can imagine. And I think
shout out to my homegirl Lindiwe. She's also part of it. She got it now, so shout out to her.
Fila Lala was also added. Shout out to Fila Lala. She posted. I saw her on her Instagram.
Oh, what is interesting. Yeah, she's on YFM.
Yeah, shout out to Fila Lala, because it's actually my wife who introduced me to her.
I'll tell you a funny story, but not now.
Okay.
Nothing bad about her, but just.
All right, congratulations, all body. Congratulations, all the Africans who have made it into the Recording Academy class of 2026, and the 4 Zimbabweans that I was able to see over here. Also, for the record, I know about these Zimbabweans because they announced them on their own social medias. I saw Asha's, I saw Rifi Wacho, and I saw Munya Chanetsa posting on their social media. Eddie Atichke I saw in the news. I think he was posted by Greedy South. So, let's hope you guys are not lying and you're telling the truth. That's pretty cool, Zimbabweans in the Grammys. Oh yeah, by the way, these are invitations that were sent. I suppose you also have to accept. So maybe there were 4,000 invitations sent. I don't know how many were actually accepted, but those 4 were accepted. Okay, still in the realm of music, Afro Nation was happening this past weekend. Well, this past weekend. Shout out to Zimbabwean DJ. Well, she's based in the UK, but she's Zimbabwean. DJ Defini.
Daphne. Yeah. It was also her birthday this past weekend.
Yeah. Shout out to her on the stage out at Afro Nation. Shout out to.
Let me see if she's available for a call. No, never mind.
2 Zimbabweans who were nominated for the Afrima Awards 2026. Best Female Artist Southern Africa, Tammy Moyo. Best Male Artist Southern Africa, Nati O. Congratulations, you guys, for your nominations. The Afrima Awards, this is the one with the double M, held in Dallas, USA. They both, well, I saw Tammy, I don't know if Nati put out there. Hey guys, please do your votes over here, please. Thank you. So
I also saw Nati's performing at their concert.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So shout out to the 2 Zimbabweans nominated at these. I think it's what does Afrima stand for again? African music. I don't know.
African mad thing.
Then over to the realm of sport. On the 15th of July, there was the July Istvan Memorial Athletics in Budapest. Shout out to Makanakaishe Charamba, who finished 2nd in the men's 200 meters, beating sprinters from all over. And then Tandazan Ndlovu, who ran 44.64 in the 400 meters, a lifetime best, became 4th. So congratulations to the 2 of them who shone brightly out in Budapest.
Shone bright like a diamond.
Then, still in the realm of athletics, this one is kind of a sad story, but it was in the Newsday and the Standard. Zimbabwe's 4-member para-athletics team, Moline Majoni, Tandiwe Ndlovu, Samson Mroiwa, and God knows Dziripi, took 3 golds and a silver at the Botswana Life Classic Run Marathon in Gaborone. But the news story, the headline was, winning gold and silver despite broken wheelchairs.
Oh my God.
And the angle of the story was that they were racing in outdated and damaged wheelchairs. Their own manager called them a safety risk. Nevertheless, despite those challenges, they got 3 golds and 1 silver medal.
Yo. Dan. Congrats to them. Yo. Flip mode. Zimbabwe just finds new ways to humiliate you. Like it's just, and it's such an age.
Since the race,
shout out to them. Please say their names again. We want to make sure we give them some respect. Please say their names again.
Shout out Moline Majoni, Tandiwe Ndlovu, Samson Mroiwa, and God knows Dziripi.
God bless you for. God bless you for.
The stories there now. The stories there now. Talking points.
I'm laying them. No, I just wanted to highlight their names, but also I laid the blame at Team Matzika's feet. This is what
Okay, so since the race, apparently, the Ministry of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture have released $4,000 to purchase a new wheelchair or racing wheelchair for Molin Majoni. So that's something.
Oh yeah, it's not like they're strapped for cash right now.
So yeah, so literally the headline was outdated wheelchairs can't stop Zim's para athletes from striking gold. Man,
This is
Anyway.
which publication.
this is the Standard.
We're such an embarrassing nation.
The link is there in our talking points. But congratulations to you guys for taking gold and silver medals.
We're such an embarrassing.
Regional.
And, I think I need to speak to your agent. Your agent their font sizes are too small. We're at a certain age, Dan. We're at a certain age.
Phil, did you just increase the sizes?
You think did you think I was trolling?
Philip, we're not that old. I respect
I
yourself.
don't know if you saw. I got new frames, so I went to the optometrist to test it, and they're like, "Oh, in 3 years you're due for readers." I was like, "Ma'am, what we're not going to do is that. We're not doing that." She's like, "No, it's I'm like, no. My vision is perfect. I'm not getting no readers." Can you imagine me walking around with 2 pairs of glasses? Then after the glasses, like with the shoelace that straps around my neck. Nah, man.
Anyway, congratulations to all the Zimbabweans.
But anyway,
that we've
the font was too small, Dan. The font was too small. I only raised the font to 13. Come on, right? We can't be doing show points with font at 9. What are we doing here? What are we
the
doing?
font was fine, Philip. The font
What's
was
going
fine.
on?
You can also just increase the zoom of your webpage. But anyway, there's also, I think there's 2 or 3. Remember when we had 7 beauty queens? So a couple of them have now gone to their competitions. So when results come from there, we'll see how well they do. So let's follow up, Phil, on a couple of things. So we were discussing this in our Patreon group, and I was chuckling at it because, first of all, this is the story about Learnmore Jonasi versus Lebo M. The case is, shall we say, it's over. Lebo M was on the 154 Africa podcast, which if you'll remember, is the place where all the trouble started, hosted by
the scene of the crime.
Godfrey and
Some other guy.
the other guy whose name is difficult to say. So Lebo M was on that podcast. I didn't watch the full episode. I just saw the clip of him talking about how he had Zimbabweans giving him death threats. I was like, in that infuriating accent of his, come on, man. Come on, dog.
I've never seen a 50-year-old screw.
Like, come on, dog. Ain't nobody sending you death. You know what I think happened? The problem is, truth isn't subjective, but people can make truth subjective because it's possible that he will scroll through all his DMs and find someone who said something that can be interpreted in that way and use that as proof that Zimbabweans are sending him death threats. Ain't no Zimbabwean sending you death threats, brother. At least not really. Anyway, so this past week, Learnmore posted on his social media that the judge dismissed the case. In fact, it was called a frivolous case, and I think opened the door for Learnmore to. I think he is countersuing in the anti-slap rulings in the States. Slap,
and he can also sue for legal fees.
Yeah, to recover legal fees. So yeah, but apparently, so Lebo M first initially it was defamation and trade libel case, defamation and trade libel. And then it was downgraded to a trademark case, which obviously, what do you mean trademark? He didn't, maybe it was for the merch that he was making. I don't know. Look, it's a lion or something.
No, he said the trademark was in the interpretation of the song because he had sold that interpretation to Disney to mean a certain thing. And now you're making it seem like it didn't mean that thing.
How is that a trademark case? That's more anyway.
Because he owns that interpretation.
Then they had somewhat agreed to sit down and have a reconciliation, and then Learnmore posted himself on the toilet.
That's when he lost me. Huh? That's when he lost me.
So that infuriated Lebo M even more. So now Lebo went on the podcast, says, "Hey, Zimbabweans are sending me death threats over this nyaya." Anyway, long story short, last week, U.S. District Judge Josephine Staton dismissed the entire case. The dismissal was voluntary and agreed by both parties. Is without prejudice means that it can't come back to the case.
No, with prejudice means it can't come back. Without prejudice means they can.
Oh, sorry. So it means it could potentially come back. Got it. But they are both saying that. So Jonasi's team says case closed, Apana Didi, and then Lebo M's team are saying we ended in a settlement. Like, then Jonasi came out and said that's a lie. There was no settlement. So I don't know. Decide how you want to take it. What a stupid story, man. Huh? So
this is proof once again. Sometimes you shouldn't respect your elders.
I would take it a step further. I think if you are a legend in music, acting, whatever, and you're over 40, delete your social media, never appear on social media. Allow us to respect you for the amazing things that you've done. And don't go onto this platform and ruin whatever legacy. Because Lebo M, before this whole case, in my head, Lebo M was a legend. Now, when I think of his name, I just think of that person who had this frivolous case.
Cornball.
So before this whole thing, he would have remained this musical legend who made one of the most iconic musical numbers in one of the best movies of all time. But
you know what the annoying thing is, right? And I think for those of you that don't know, we didn't want to highlight it at the time because it made things a bit awkward. But I know his children.
Yes. No, you
if
did
you
highlight
scroll, if you scroll back far enough, there's actually an interview we did on this podcast with one of his children.
I was about to say, does his daughter not listen to the podcast?
She does. That's what I was trying to be. But I was also like, I'm done. I'll go, how did I want? And then it's just like, Phil, what are you saying? I don't speak Sean. I was like, yeah, I just work with you.
Then you sent her death threats. That's the problem with you Zimbabweans and the M family.
So I was trying to be respectful until I realized, but I should reach it up. And privately in the group, and I think even on the podcast, I kind of alluded to like, my guy, this sounds like Muna Asnamad. And not to say that he's broke, just cash flow's low. It sounds like I'm trying to, increase cash flow. Because my man's been married 11 times. Every time you get married, that's not cheap. Divorces aren't cheap. Engagement rings aren't cheap.
Can't you reuse? Do you have to? Don't you reuse the engagement rings? Anyway,
you can't. Try taking an engagement ring from a woman. See how that goes.
No, guys, you said an engagement ring and then you break up. Aye. Anyway. Another follow-up story. So I was listening back to our episode where we discussed in depth, the 30th of June March and March protests across South Africa against illegal immigration, as they insist. And, I was listening back and I was like, you know what? I think I didn't like that I sounded a little bit callous towards South Africans. I don't track back anything that I said, but I do want to add, I think, what happens with these kind of things, right? With these, we were discussing in the group when it comes to Messi versus Ronaldo. And we discussed as well about the fact that there was clearly a social media campaign to push these anti-foreigner sentiments. But the problem with these things, right, is you can't push something that isn't at least partly true. Or at least it would be very difficult. What you do is you latch onto the few true things, you twist the truth a little bit, you cherry pick information, you hide context to push things. So, for example, for many South Africans, and I had a heated DM conversation with a South African who has been I was very disappointed because this is like someone who I thought, or at least I thought had a very reasonable view of the world. But I saw they were posting.
Is this someone that listened to the podcast?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's just a South African that I followed for years. And she was posting a lot of very pro-March content. And I was like, come on, this ain't it, yo. And then, so we had a very heated discussion. And the big frustration from her was, I still disagree with your entire premise, but I think it's a mistake to dismiss your concerns. Her thing was, I live in this community. I can see with my eyes. My family can see with our eyes that there are some immigrants, illegal immigrants in our neighborhood that are taking advantage of certain things. So the thing is, a lot of this stuff, there's some truth to it, right? But then the context is taken away and the information is cherry picked. So, for example, numerous reports and statistics in South Africa show that, by and large, illegal immigrants don't have access to, social benefits in South Africa. But there are probably some individual anecdotal cases that people can see where people are taking advantage of that, right? And the problem is those anecdotal cases will then be taken and amplified and it snowballs. So to someone who lives in that community and has seen this happen or has been told, like some people said, like we saw that, we discussed it as well when we spoke about it, that, who was it? Was it the whichever official it was that said that the reason why you can't get healthcare is because the immigrants are using it or whatever the case is, right? So anyway, when I was listening back, I was like, okay, I think I'm being a little too dismissive, which is a mistake. I think I still believe that you are reacting wrongly and you are being manipulated and you are being fed misinformation. So let me tell you where, for example, this debate that I had with this person was. Her position was, if a resident of a community or a space says, I have an issue with this, how can you, a non-resident from outside, come and say, no, you don't have a problem? You are being fed information. Is it not better for you to come and hear what I have to say? And then from there, you can then, for you to dismiss what I'm saying as a person who lives here in this community and is observing this and is upset or frustrated with this, how can you come from outside? You don't even live here. The only time you come here is as a tourist, and you come and you say, hey, you're wrong, hey, whatever. So I was like, you know what? Okay, fair. While I may disagree with how you're reacting, it's true. I can't tell you what is a problem in your community or not. You know better than I do. But what I disagree with is the violent response. Which she was like, her response was, I also don't think there should be a violent response. Unfortunately, in every movement, there will be rogue elements that will do the most, that will become violent, that will attack and kill and hurt and whatever. And then she used the example of during Black Lives Matter protests in the States, the overall movement was righteous and just, but yes, there were some people who took it too far and perhaps hurt and injured people and whatever. And then people will then use those rogue elements to discredit the whole movement. And I was like, I see that, but I don't think you can compare the two, because one is about oppression and the other is, I don't like my neighbor. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it was a heated exchange, but the one thing I did take away from it was, I think it's wrong for me to dismiss someone in South Africa who says this is my reality. At the same time, I think it's also true that there are efforts to manipulate that are happening. So I just wanted to add that as an extra.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of feedback from listeners about this topic, and I think so. Let's start with the paying listeners. Those are people that submitted by the portal. So someone that says, I just want to add my 2 cents to the conversation about xenophobia, especially around comments suggesting we should shut down piano stages. I think this is when we're talking about the pushback at Afro Nation.
Yeah.
And some people not wanting to go to the...
not Afro Nation, at Zimfest.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes. To me, that sounds like Trump doesn't give us visas, so we protest by deleting Instagram. I understand the motive, but what's the impact? Maybe what was meant is to stop booking certain piano acts, but even that becomes complicated. A lot of piano and wider creative industry is already an amalgamation, big words in our group here, of Zimbabwean, South African, Nigerian artists and more. In many ways, Amapiano and Afro House are some of the least xenophobic spaces we have. Zimbabwean artists are deeply embedded in these genres and actively shaping the sound. I also think South African artists, while some have spoken out, could do more. SA music has been heavily supported across the continent. The quality is part of it, but it's the fact that many of the people building the industry are not only South African, including producers, managers, writers, vocalists, and dancers. Imagine if bigger names took a stand. Of course, they don't have to speak on politics, but imagine. At the same time, I understand it's not an easy space to navigate. I agree with Dan that the average South African is not xenophobic. The issue is that louder xenophobic voices often go unchecked, which creates a perception gap. From the outside, it's safe to assume the whole country is xenophobic when you see the violence and statements made in the news and etc. Even if that is not the reality, because South Africa are zwi zwi, which is quiet, and these convos are happening, and the bots are going dish and you get out.
Abahambe.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked to see a South African bot say dish and you, but that would be a programming error. But it's tough. But yeah, so a measured response there. But I think also it's true to a certain degree. But I think it's this conversation does actually have a lot of layers, because I think I've also realized, and part of the feedback we got from listeners is also, in as much as you and I spend a significant amount of time here, we are actually in fact tourists, right?
Yeah.
And
For
even
now.
though I do business here, I don't do business the same way someone who's formally employed does business. And my experience is very different from their experience. And I think that was highlighted in these messages that we received. And I think it's important for me, especially, to acknowledge my blind spot and acknowledge how that may have misinformed my opinion. And I think that'll come to light in some of these other conversations as well that we received here. Another response was, generally, I'm not a fan of blanket terms like the reasonable people that are in this group. So kudos to all the measured solid points espoused regularly. I do feel strongly about what I'm about to say. Note, my views are hypothesis, not a position to be defended. So let's not sugarcoat things. There is clearly a level of cognitive dissonance occurring here. This is also, to a bit of context, this is also after a back and forth and people were sharing their opinions, but I'm sharing some of the most poignant responses. But there was an ongoing discussion for at least 3-4 days in our group regarding the xenophobia. To be part of that group and get all the updates on xenophobia, be sure to send Dan money. Details at another show. It's almost like some people can't believe that for the majority of people, they just can't be that xenophobic. Parentheses, think the South African civil rights, American genocides, Nazi Germany, apartheid, gas, etc. I'm assuming she meant the gas chambers. But that's the thing. They can and are. You just need to be able to accept it. And also, as you do know, there are many good people in SA who are kind and even Pan-Africanist and open, etc. But if you had in a group of 10, 6 people were xenophobic, Afrophobes, then the group by majority is indeed Afrophobic. As far as I know, there's no exhaustive body of research to prove that. Most South Africans are at least somewhat xenophobic or Afrophobic. If someone did, and I would bet it would come out. Anecdotal, I know, but I went to high school in South Africa for 3 years. It was an international school, but every time we had to leave campus, we were very worried about things going down. There were even circulars about how to interact at times. I just mean they are Afrophobic in general, but I also don't know why, because they are angry. But they are angry at the wrong people. The most vulnerable are the ones that cop it. I would also make the distinction that Afrophobic rather than xenophobic. Insert clip of the white German lady, Tonga, getting abused, vendors, etc. I think they're talking about that German woman that was being fawned over by the leader of Dudula. Also, I would not be shy to specifically point out that the Zulus, as they are the main perpetrators or otherwise. Oh, Lou. So there's another one. It's a bit long. I'm trying to see how I can shorten these down. But anyway, this conversation is a bit nuanced. Not the easiest to talk about, to capture the complexity of it, but we need a public forum debate to really hear the views and opinions. But here are some of my thoughts. As someone who fully grew up in SA and has lived across the country and still lives here, 2 or more things are true at the same time. Yet the anger is real. Most of this country is poor. The government has failed people for years. Jobs don't exist. When life is hard, people look for someone to blame so we can sit and pretend that the pain isn't real. The black foreigner is the easy target, not the reason. After the foreigner, it will be the battle of tribes. Why do petty people come and work in Jersey, etc.? The hurt underneath is real, and what is being done with it is doing real damage. This is also the notion that not all are like that, said by most people that are sitting in the 10% and have privilege, but it's not just out there with people who never had access. I have a friend, I grew up with her, same schools, varsity, and in corporate now. The whole thing, and last week I sent her a video, and the microaggressions you hear about lives. Oh, sorry, the microaggression you hear also lives in her, but it just rears its head in the most subtle ways. But you are not like them, Chomi, she says. It's everywhere. So essentially, what she's implying here is her friend is xenophobic, but she's like, you're one of the good ones. You're one of the good blacks. It's everywhere. So I can't do the whole, oh, but you're not like that thing because we kind of are. We've just got better manners about it. But I also don't think about this as some uniquely South African thing. It's a human one. I've said some stuff that I regret, and now I'm sure we all have, and we're around our own people. On the artist getting cancelled, the piano stage etc. Is it fair? Yeah, to a degree. It's the most real responsible response people have got. Presidents on the continent are calling out because they're not going to stand by while the people die, and cultural pressure is one of the new things that actually gets felt. The world did the same to apartheid South Africa once, but does it work and is it clean? Less sure. Canceling every SA artist ruins the same logic, and they all must go. Blaming everyone for what some do, maybe there's a difference because pushing up at a whole country isn't the same as pushing down on a vulnerable minority, but I can hold that it's both fair and messy at once. There's no talking in absolutes when nothing about this is absolute. This is why this needs a real conversation, not a thread. I don't have a clean answer, and I don't trust anyone who does. Those are some of the measured responses in our group. We received some emails as well. And I think some of them, so there was one from, let me just call him T. I'll just read the first paragraph. He says that xenophobia isn't just in the streets, guys. I've been in South Africa for 8 years now. I'm working in corporate and banking. Hey, please don't put your personal information in the emails, but I'll censor that part out. My papers are sorted. I pay my taxes. I live in a privileged life. My brothers and sisters.
Okay, now so what? You're just showing. That's the point of this email, just to show off. Well, good for you then.
Ha ha ha. La di da di da. But listening to you guys this last week, I realized you both suffer from a bit of naive optimism. Ooh. You both want to see the best in people and treat this as an extremist or bot-driven issue. It's not. Xenophobia is deeply ingrained in the DNA here, right up to the highest corporate floors. Dan, you talk about the microeconomic benefits we bring, but my colleagues in tailored suits, the same ones who invite me to their braais, will comfortably make polite microaggression jokes about how Zimbabweans are taking all the executive bonuses. When downsizing happens, the quiet murmurs in the office are always about how the foreigners should be the first out the door. The vitriol isn't just from desperate people in the townships. It is sanitized and spoken in boardrooms. You guys are underestimating how deep the rot goes. The boycotts might be ineffective, Dan, but they are born from a realization that no amount of economic contribution will ever make us welcome here. Oh, that's one that hit me in the chesticles. That hit me in the chesticles there, bro. Then we've got another one. I wanted to weigh in on the when they go slow, we go slow episode. Okay. I love how people just, make sure they clarify. I'm a lecturer at okay, once again, guys, please don't put your information. Okay, I'm a lecturer at a top university in South Africa.
You Philip, don't read the
yeah, but I'll slip. Okay, I'm not going to say how many years you've been there, but this person has been there for a couple of years because then someone will be able to triangulate who this might be. I've been there for 7 years on a requisite visa. Yes, giving us all your PII. You guys had a very nuanced debate about the boycotts and the violence, but what you missed is the psychological warfare we face every single day. You think education or class can shield us? It doesn't. My qualifications are constantly second guessed by both faculty and students in ways my South African counterparts never experienced. If I enforce a deadline, I get anonymous student reviews calling me a foreigner who doesn't want to understand the South African struggle. Faculty meetings are filled with exclusionary language and microaggressions masked as friendly banter about our government back home. Phil, you mentioned bots stoking the fires, but the fire is already burning in the minds of the educated youth I teach every day. They genuinely believe their lack of opportunities is my fault for occupying this desk. You guys are looking at the extremes, the burning camps, and the diplomatic policies, but you're ignoring the suffocating everyday xenophobia that is baked into the culture here. Yay. I think I might have to read the rest of these emails from the airport. I don't know.
So, okay. Very dope takes. And I think the ultimate underlining issue here is there's no easy answer here. One. Two, South Africa might actually in general have a problem with xenophobia. And this is not just something that's been stoked externally, right? I think that was always my point, by the way, just to clarify. This can't come from nowhere. It's not like these feelings, unless it was cultivated for, generations. But my point is, okay, again, I mentioned this in the group. If someone thinks, yeah, Chomi, there's actually quite a lot of foreigners in here. They don't march, they don't attack anyone, they don't burn anyone, but they just think, yeah, there's actually a lot of foreigners here. Is that xenophobic? I don't think there's a clear answer to that. Maybe, maybe not. Because I think it's human. I think, hey, we are a somewhat, especially in a space where when you see an outsider come in or a lot more outsiders come in, that feeling or thought of, there's more outsiders here. Okay, what if it goes a step further? What if it's, I don't want so many foreigners to be around here. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to punish anyone. I don't want to march against anyone or break anything. I just don't feel that it's, I do feel like there's too many foreigners here. Is that xenophobic? I don't know. Maybe. And as has been said by the emails, some people feel that no, this feeling is deeply ingrained. Which is surprising to me because, South Africa, Gara is super diverse. But let's also be realistic. A lot of Zimbabweans have gone there legally and illegally. Some estimates are saying as many as 2 million Zimbabweans are currently in South Africa.
What? That's crazy. What do you mean, Dan? We're not there. I'm at home.
As many as 2 million Zimbabwean immigrants are in South Africa, according to some estimates. These are, by the way, estimates from our side, not from their side. So, I think the most estimates I've seen are sitting in the region of 1 point something. So, my personal belief is that, guys, these borders were drawn by clueless white people generations ago who drew them not for our benefit, but drew them for their benefit with the goal of trying to extract as many resources as possible. How can we sit here and be so strongly defensive of these lines that were drawn so long ago by people who didn't care about us? But still, obviously, to administer ourselves, there has to be some kind of, this is this space. That's in my mind, any human can be anywhere. Unfortunately, if you are in that space, sometimes when I find it difficult, as a thought experiment I encourage everyone to have. Sometimes when I find it difficult to think about these global issues, I have to shrink it down to something that my lizard brain can understand. If we lived in a village with 100 people, we have a village chief, we have a village doctor, we have a couple of farmers who provide, we do a barter arrangement, that's the life that we live in this village. Things are going well. 100 kilometers away, or let's say 20 kilometers away, there's another village of also 100 people. They also have a village chief. Let's say that village chief starts moving mad. And let's say 10 of those 100 people come to our village and say, yo, kwedu kwama one. Can we set up our own and join your village here? To me, that sounds extremely reasonable and normal. Of course, you can, but you'll have to contribute. You have to, whether you become a farmer or you do our horses or whatever it is, you got to do something. But of course, what about 20? What about 90 from that other village come? I mean, yeah, as long as you contribute. Of course. What if they are disruptive? What if they come and they cause problems? Aiwaga, you were welcome to come, but now that you're causing problem, the one that caused problems must go. Everyone else can chill. In my mind, that seems so reasonable and makes sense. If there's Zimbabweans who feel good, Zimma one, and they want to go to South Africa, what's the problem as long as they're contributing? If they are causing problems, ngababai. So in my mind, okay, let's say you're in this village and you're now like, guys, we were 100, now we're 150, and those extra 50 came from the other village. And the thing is, things are getting tough. And maybe it's because of them, maybe it's not because of them. Is that wrong to think that? I don't think it's wrong to think that. Is it wrong to express it? I don't know, maybe. Is it wrong to kick people out just because 50 of you came, but one of you was disruptive? So I mess him with 50 by. I think, in my mind, I think that's wrong. So I think it's a very nuanced discussion, and the notes have been taken. Maybe South Africa does have a very deeply ingrained sort of xenophobic feelings in it. But I also think that many South Africans are open to, foreigners being there. I don't know. This is a complex issue, I guess.
So I think you raise a very valid point, and I had a conversation with someone this week which kind of brought it to light. And they were like, the issue here, though it may stem or it may result in it affecting the wider population. I'm trying to figure out how to frame this. Okay, this is how I say it. The people that we associate with, the people that we deal with, because when you and I come here,
yep,
we fly. So we fly in, we deal with immigration. We are in the privileged class.
Yeah.
When we stay here, we're staying in Airbnbs, we're staying in hotels, we're staying in comfortable homes of friends and family. There's been, at no time have we ever gone to any of these high density areas. We haven't been in Alex, we haven't been in
speak for yourself, man. I've been to Khayelitsha a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't stay there.
Oh, I didn't live there, yeah, but
Yeah. So this is, and that's what I'm saying. So, and because of that, it became very clear to me. So the other reason that this person raised this issue is they're very well off, but they've lost a domestic worker, and the domestic worker had to go because they're like, fam, where I stay, the block is hot, my house is being targeted, I've got to go back. I'm going back home because it's just not worth it anymore. So as much as I love working here, I've got to leave. Left a good job, a decent paying job, and went back home.
Mm.
And that also took them aback because they're like, I thought we were shielded by this, where we are. But one of the things that people forget is you may be in Sandton, but your workers aren't. And there have been a lot of people who have been losing their workers and losing their staff because where they stay, if they don't stay in good neighborhoods, they're being targeted because people now know that's a Zimbabwean. Let's get at them. Or they've seen people being targeted. And every day outside this embassy that I've been mentioning for the past few weeks, the numbers don't stop. Like every day, it's wave upon wave of people arriving. And then 5 or 6 buses will come and they'll clear out and you're like, oh, okay, I think it's over. And then the next day, there's a whole new set of people. And the other day, temperatures reached 2 degrees. These people have no camps. They've got no tents. They've got nothing protecting them from the elements. And I heard the situation in Cape Town. We had someone in the group who went to the Epping camp in Cape Town. And they're like, it's just as bad. Our refugees in Cape Town at the Zimbabwean consulate are across the field, literally in a field, open field, like no shielding from the elements whatsoever. And it rains in Cape Town, by the way, during winter. So we have this view that the people we deal with and associate with, and keep in mind, a lot of these people that we're messaging are even speaking about corporate, right? So these are the privileged class that have access to education, have access to resources, and even some of them display these xenophobic views. But the majority, the 90% of South Africans are the people who are in squalor or less than ideal conditions. They are the people who are desperate. They are the people who can be manipulated because they don't see any other option. And they're not listening to podcasts like this. If at all, maybe they see clips on TikTok or social media or whatever. Then obviously the algorithm is going to start feeding them what they engage with. And if I'm in a high density area, I'm struggling to pay bills, I've got no job, I can't feed my kids, I can't feed my family, I've got a leaking roof whenever it rains. I don't have a constant source of electricity. And I've been told at the pub, and I've been told when I go hang out with friends, and I've been told on the radio that the problem is foreigners. I'm going to start believing it's foreigners because I'm not going to have a dissenting view on that, because where's that information coming from? And then on social media, that information is reinforced constantly over and over and over again. I've been presented with no information to counteract that narrative. And I feel that's the majority of the people out here. So we may not interact with them on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, we kind of discussed this last week, right? So I guess what I was trying to say is exactly what you said, except for one thing. We're talking about them being presented with information versus many of them are saying, I'm telling you what I see in my community with my eyes. And you are telling me, hey, Israel came here, and what I'm telling you, Randaona, Chomi,
and
Mos.
And I think you touched on an excellent point, because now at that level, right? At the level where these people may be at. So I can't speak to this person that you have a conversation with, and you can elucidate me more on that one.
She's also a bit of a crash out, so I was like, you know what? Let me end this conversation here. But in this example that I'm giving, right? If I'm staying in the ghetto and I'm encountering foreigners, there's a very high likelihood that those foreigners are not there on critical skills visas. They're not there on a ZEP permit. They're there because they are playing the game in the system. So already they are there illegally. They may be trying to contribute. They may be trying to find an honest day's work, but circumstances have not allowed them to get the papers that they need. If anything, if at best, maybe they've got a connect at Home Affairs that they broke off a couple of thousand to get papers, right? Or at the very most, they've got their passport and they're doing that thing where you give the bus driver gets your passport stamped, this, that, the third, whatever. Right? So already, that in itself is criminality. And we can't disregard that, right? It's not, I would not say to me, it's not immoral criminality. It's not like stealing. It's not like murder. It's not like crime. But anyway, it's still a crime. Okay. And at the same breath, when you have those people, and that's on the good side of the people that are just trying to work, pay bills, contribute to the community, maybe already breaking the law. That's the good side. On the bad side, you genuinely would have the criminals. They would also be there. The scammers, the robbers, the thieves. And yes, you'll always notice a thief that is different to you more than you'll notice your own. Right? Because they stand out more. Because they don't look like the other people that you interact with more. They don't talk like that. And we've been seeing like this massive crackdown. I don't know if you've seen these videos of the city of Cape Town now cracking down on these illegal foreigners who have dodgy registration on their luxury cars. Yeah, I saw that.
But they stand out more. Those are not the only individuals with dodgy cars in South Africa. There's no way that South Africa, with the level of car theft it registers on an annual basis, the only people purchasing these car thefts or importing cars illegally or with suspicious paperwork are foreigners. Of course not. But it makes for great headlines. It makes for great political traction because you're addressing a current need, or you're looking to address a current need. So now it's starting to feed the people's political agendas. And their political agenda might not be to form discontent or to just get rid of foreigners. It's like, well, it seems like the people don't want foreigners. Let me see if I can do something that makes me look good while also addressing the issue of foreigners. I can't necessarily kick them out, but okay, let's do an operation about vehicles. Kill two birds with one stone. That is populism. So I can understand where this person is coming from. And I think from my side, I don't know what the specifics of the conversation were with between you and her. But from my side, I would also be like, you know what? I may not like to hear what you're saying, but I can understand. I can't dispute your reality.
Yeah. To be honest, that kind of stopped me in my tracks a little bit. Like, how can I tell you what your experience is? Even though I do believe that you are being influenced and manipulated, whatever. But how can I tell you? I also do think that you're looking at this wrong, and I do think you should not hate foreigners like the way you do and whatever. But I can't come and tell you what your reality is. So it did make me pause for a bit, and I was like, okay. But I still stand by that. I think that first of all, there is a coordinated campaign. Second of all,
no, that without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
That we've seen enough reports of. I don't know if you should say their names. We've seen enough reports about Russia being behind this, and we know why Russia's behind it. We know the chosen people are maybe involved in this. In fact, the chosen people let us know they're involved in. I've never seen people self-snitch on themselves. They literally just snitch. They were like,
No,
"Are you guys seeing our campaign?"
They were like, well, look at y'all. Aren't you the guys who came at us? Well, look where you are now. It's like, wait, how are you not even afraid to say that? Anyway, okay, let's move on, Philip. Let's move on. We have talked at length about this issue.
Sports ball time. Sports ball.
No, not sports ball. I'm here to ask you about what you think about Thomas Mapfumo's situation.
Dude, I don't know.
Okay, wait. Let me tell everyone what the situation is. Okay, so Thomas Mapfumo, obviously legendary Zimbabwean musician. He has been in self-imposed exile in the US for the last 20 years. Many people will remember that he has been a vocal critic of the Zimbabwean government. And for that reason, he has not come back to Zimbabwe. Anyway, our favorite car gifter, who has been giving close to, I think someone was calculating how much it's all coming up to. It's close to 45 million or something of cars.
Which in the grand scheme of things is drops in a bucket.
Yeah. Anyway, he announced with a video that Thomas Mkhanyisi Mapfumo would be coming to Zimbabwe to perform.
He invited him.
Well, no, but I mean, he was saying in the video that I am coming to Zimbabwe and I will be performing. And then...
Wignall invited him and then Thomas replied and said, I accept.
Yes,
I shall be there.
We say invite is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence because apparently he's being paid. He's being paid $1 million US. 500,000 each for performances at Ja Praiser's wedding and Wignall's birthday. So $1 million US to come and perform here. Oh, actually, I don't know. Actually, I think it's 1 million for the performance and then 500,000 for the wedding. I don't know. One of the two. 1 million or 1.5 million, whichever one it is. Yeah. So anyway, so this obviously, as you can expect, many people felt like everyone has a price. Wasn't this the guy who was very vocal against the Zim government and now he's accepting money to come and perform? Others were saying, "Aiwaga, auntie, he's getting paid to do a job. This doesn't mean anything else." In fact, he himself said that in the video. Kuti Mari Basa guy. So yeah, now tell me what you were thinking. And I know you're well measured in your answer. You will be well measured.
Actually, I'm very well measured. I don't, as Kandoro said, that doesn't, we are being tongued in ways we have never been tongued before. And I got to tip my hat to them. This strategy, which dates back multiple years now, unbeatable. Unbeatable. I know. From political strategy, okay. I've got to give them props.
Hold on, Phil. Forget all that strategy. I want to know what you think. Do you think Mapfumo sold out? Oro? Hey, man, it is what it is.
Guys, of course he sold out. I mean, but it is what it is. It can be two things. He sold out, and it is what it is. Because I don't want to lie to y'all, bruh. Okay. Let's go. Wait, Thomas Mapfumo, is he on the Instagrams?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Let me just check. I just want to look. I just want to see, because I want to see, how many shows he's done in the past year. Just in this the 6 months of 2026. You know what I mean? What tours has Thomas Mapfumo been a part of? Do you know of any then?
To be 100% honest, I haven't heard that name in years.
Until he did his homecoming concert here, right?
I remember there was some homecoming Guan or something. I can't remember, but yeah.
I'm looking. Okay, this may be his page. No, I don't know. I don't know if this is his page. I don't think it is.
Anyway, so
I say all this to say, a man's got to eat, and I don't let you. I think we've said a lot of things about turning down some money to the stand, third, blah 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 blah. Morals, 1.5 million. Nah. 1.5 million. 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 1.5 milli Nah, nigga.
Are you revealing? Are you
I'll-
publicly revealing your price, Phil?
I may sing Boys to Men directly to Wick now. What you saying? I'll make love to you like you want me
Eye
to.
contact, bro.
And I'll hold you tight.
Eye contact.
Baby, all through. I'll be rubbing those folds. I'll make love to you. Just rubbing that, lifting that belly. And I will not let go till you tell me to.
Okay, so this is what I believe, by the way. I believe that work. Okay, let's say you are a doctor. Doesn't matter who is on your table, regardless of who they are, you will operate, treat, whatever the case is, right? Cool. That may be an extreme example. What about you are a baker? You make cakes. You get a booking from someone who you vehemently disagree with, whose politics you thoroughly disagree with. Do you refuse to make them a cake? Most bakers, even if I disagree, like, listen, this is a business, you pay, whatever. This is just one angle, by the way, and I know this is more nuanced than this, but allow me to land this plane. What about if you are a lawyer? Do you choose, even if you are a prominent advocate in certain spaces, if someone approaches and wants to hire your services, would you turn it down if you disagree with their politics? I use disagree with the politics as a very light. So in my mind, doing work is work. However, I think when it comes to entertainment, there's a broader view here, because you won't just perform anywhere, because you also know that it affects your brand. I would say the same is true of any public-facing sort of work. It will affect your brand. So you will make a decision knowing that your brand is affected. I think it's naive to expect people to stand on principle, to be broke on principle. Nah, that's a bit naive. But I think it's fair to expect people not to, how do I put this? If you view this is the source of your oppression, you wouldn't publicly support it. But on the flip side, to think, me, I must turn down work. Iwewe company ya urukushanda iwewe. Chances are, whoever you are, chances are company ya urukushanda iwewe. If we were to look deep enough, sure, you're expecting money, you're accepting money from that person. 90% of y'all.
Yep.
So I'm not quick to blame people for accepting the money, but I do think this is more of a brand consideration. It's just that Mkhanya is at the end of his career. Like, at this point,
He was never seeing that money. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
At this point,
I mean,
you got to take the money, bro.
Yep.
But I get it.
You got
I get it.
nowhere to hold
It will affect your brand.
Nowhere to fold.
People will be angry, and you will lose fans. All of that is going to happen. But you were not going to touch that money.
But lose fans where? That's the thing. Like, he wasn't fully maximized outside of live performances and the residuals from streaming. This is money he's never gonna touch. Man, at a certain point, you got like, guys, deuces.
Not
Let's
even
be real.
deuces. You can even be like, yo, if you are able to tell the story, listen, guys, these are still my beliefs. This is still what I do. However,
I fought for how long? How long have I been in exile? Huh? How many shows did I give up for y'all ungrateful niggas?
but we also
And
know,
what did you do? You just gave Nyoka Musango to my club DJ.
No, but you're telling me Zion Black downloaded. Did he even download it using YouTube to MP3 before making a remix that y'all play more than the original? What up, Dennis? jokes, brother, jokes. But that having been said, I think the rules are slightly different if you are Holy 10, for example. But as we watched it happen, play out in real life, maybe the rules aren't different. Anyway, my point is, it's interesting to observe. Sometimes there's no need to react to everything. Isuzu, we are recording a podcast. Otherwise, reaction. Upon, guys, 1.5 meter.
All I say is I don't necessarily agree, but I definitely understand.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I've it's like, you know what, my man's, I get it. You don't even have to explain yourself. I get it.
I get it.
It is what it is. The game is the game.
It's sad that it's for a private gig, though. I mean, it would have been very cool if this was a public thing to attend. I mean, unless Japres is selling tickets to his wedding.
Why would they make it a public thing so he can get stoned?
Okay. The other story that was all over social media, and we discussed it a lot in our group as well. I don't think there's really any need for us to have takes on it, but I'll just mention the story. Okay. Whew. Our producer says that you must have a full tonal shift here because it's a serious story. So, Ndodana Mkhanyisi Tshuma, a 45-year-old British citizen of Zimbabwean heritage. People were saying that his name is Mark, but his erstwhile lawyer said, why are you calling him Mark? I think that was just a mispronunciation of Mkhanyisi. Anyway, he was in the news because he was revealed to have been wanted by UK authorities for the accusation of murder of his wife and children, 2 daughters, 15 and 5, as well as his wife. They were found in the family home in Bedfordshire, and he was on the run. CCTV footage showed him boarding a flight on Heathrow via Dubai, landing at OR Tambo. Chances are he may have crossed briefly into Zimbabwe, but he was picked up in Johannesburg. A joint SAPS and Interpol operation arrested him. He is going to be facing a trial in South Africa for weapons charges, I believe. Mm-hmm. There was all manner of weird stories that I didn't fully understand. Others had like a recording or a voice note of some guy who I didn't fully understand those stories, and I let me not speak on them. But yeah, so long story short, he appeared in Joburg's Magistrates Court on Monday, 13th July, on that firearm charge. I think there was a lot of conversation about what the extradition process is between the UK and South Africa. I believe, again, I read somewhere that South Africa, there's a certain law or something, or there's some law in South Africa that prohibits extradition if the death penalty is on the table. So the UK first have to give assurances that there will be no death penalty before extradition can be pursued, or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I believe there's something has to be figured out before extradition goes forward. But I believe the Justice Minister in South Africa said that once the paperwork is signed, he will be extradited to the UK, where he will face those murder charges. So this was a huge story in Zim because already there was already conversations about immigration and all that. So the idea is a Zimbabwean in the UK. So the UK far right people took it and you see, you are bringing these foreigners in here. Look what they're doing. SA were like, that's why we don't want them here. And
then the wildest part was seeing, once again, there may have been bots because I wasn't online much, but when I did log on, I was seeing a lot of people don't understand how immigration works. And I'm like, shame. A lot of you guys don't have passports.
Yeah.
Because they were all like, how did this person arrive in the country? How did they travel to Zimbabwe and then come? And I'm like, okay, guys, first and foremost, outside of Zimbabwe, there's no direct flight to Zimbabwe anymore. Right? You fly through routes. So unless he flew through Dubai and caught the Emirates flight from Dubai to Harare, for the most part, you're either going through Kenya or you're going through South Africa to get to Zimbabwe. One. The assumption is he was flying to Zimbabwe, but obviously that wasn't the case.
He might have. Some reports say that he did come into Zimbabwe and then went back to Joburg.
But he, according to the flight manifest, if I'm misunderstanding, correct me, he landed on a flight from the UK to South Africa.
Yes.
Initially.
And then some days later, so he landed in South Africa, I think, let me follow my timeline over here. He landed in South Africa on the 5th of July, and then he was arrested on the 10th of July. So some reports are saying that between the 5th and the 10th, he traveled to Zim and went back, but I don't know if that's true. Also, it doesn't matter, anyway.
So, yeah, my whole contention, or rather, my whole issue was just people not understanding how immigration works, people not understanding how, if a red notice is issued, how someone can be caught. Obviously, it takes time for a red notice to be issued, for people to understand that he left a port. By the time he landed in South Africa, he obviously cleared immigration because the red notice hadn't been public yet, or hadn't been published.
Mm.
And because of all this, it's obviously fanned the flames a bit more. But it's also, on one side, it's been frustrating and annoying on the South African anti-immigrant side, and also, as you mentioned, the UK side. And then on the other side, it's been very frustrating and disappointing on the clickbait side, because there's a very big contingent of Zimbabwean platforms and Zimbabwean tweeters and social media posters who make their bones by just getting engagement and just tweeting salacious things. And it's heartbreaking because people seem to forget
that there's murder victims here.
There's murder victims. Their families have to, like, can you imagine the trauma of learning via Twitter, via social media, that your aunt has been killed, your cousin has been killed, your niece, and every day you're being fed nonsense? Can you imagine how taxing that is, emotionally and mentally?
Yeah.
Humans are the ghetto, bro.
Yeah. And to make it worse, there's the usual, I get, maybe it's what you're referring to. There's the usual, but why did he act that way? What did she do? Like, whoa. How did we even get here? Anyway, this wasn't really
then there's people analyzing his finances. Nigga, you don't know this nigga from a can of paint.
Mm.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah. Well, let's move on then. Have you been watching the World Cup, Philip?
I actually have now because now it's like 2 games a week. I've been very good. I watched the Argentina game yesterday.
Yep.
Seeing English hearts broken. Oh, feed it to my veins. Granted, it's Argentina, and we just discussed.
Big nigga burger fan over here, huh?
No. You see, Dan, I think you forget, Dan. I don't like Argentina. But Argentina never colonized me.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying. You can't tell me the enemy Argentina are
of
worse.
My enemy. The enemy of my enemy right now happens to be my friend. So now, in the final, I'm obviously now going to switch because at least I'm supporting Spain because Spain has been taking in a lot of Afro-tech DJs. And Tina Masawi is there. That's my rationale.
Your reason for supporting is so funny, man.
That's my reasoning for Spain. My reasoning for Spain is they're supporting the ticka, and they support Tina Masawi. That's good enough for me. And a lot of my friends in the UK go to Spain on holiday. So I'm like, you know what? They got my vote.
I wasn't supporting Argentina because I don't like any of the players except for one. There's not, I do kind of like Alvarez. I think he's a dope player, but I really like Messi. But I was low-key supporting England, but even as I was watching, I was like, this doesn't feel right. I was low-key supporting England because of all the Arsenal players that are in the team. But the moment Declan Rice came off, and then I now see Argentina like turn into prime, I don't know, the Hurricanes. We're the Hurricanes!
I know, that second half, they were on fire, bro.
I couldn't help but smile when I saw the GOAT doing GOAT things. Now, I get it. You guys can tell me, hey, Argentina are the worst. Hey, look, I get it, but that's theoretical, bro. Anyway, I would like to see Spain win, to be honest. I like the story of Lamine Yamal taking over after the bath photo, passing of the reins, or what. I like that. So, I mean, this is an escape, right? This is entertainment. To me, that's a dope story. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I watched that final. Anyway, so something that was a lot of discussion in the group, and I see it all over social media, so I thought I'll bring it up on the podcast as well. Is FIFA favoring Argentina? So a lot of people do feel that to be the case. They feel that a lot of calls have gone in Argentina's favor, and they pull up all manner of evidence to prove it. Several players have said the same thing. For example, when Argentina knocked out Egypt after they had a 2-0 lead in the 80-whatever minute, and they ended up losing 3-2 after extra time, one of Egypt's players was shouting in the camera, this is rigged, this tournament was rigged, or whatever. Then there were people who were pointing out, hey, all Argentine referees for a French game because they know that France is Argentina's biggest. Well, look what happened with that. France didn't even reach Argentina. Look, let me put it this way. this is the discussion that we had. This, first of all, this is entertainment. So, you know what? Agendas, discussions, whatever, are all fair and good. We can't sit here and claim that something is 100% this or 100% that. That's the whole point of this. It's entertainment, right? 2, is FIFA corrupt? 100%. We know that to be a fact. We know that to be we know that to be a fact because of the court cases. So FIFA is corrupt, 100%. Do I believe that FIFA have accepted bribe money and that they have manipulated things to try and maximize profit? You just have to look at the hydration breaks to know that. You just have to look at who the hosts are and who the hosts of the World Cup are. So yeah, so I'm not here trying to claim that FIFA is not corrupt. Is it possible that they will maneuver and manipulate matters to try and maximize eyeballs? So, for example, they know that Messi is one of the GOATs, Cristiano is one of the GOATs. So can we manipulate so that they last longer in the tournament? I do think they would do that. But I don't think they would do that by giving direct instructions to referees. I think they would do it in other ways. In fact, for one of the ways that we know that they did it is the way they set up the brackets. They set it up so that no one in the top, however many seeds, I think it's top 8 or top 12, face each other until round of 16 at least, or round of... They set it up that way so that it's impossible for top seeds to face each other, and we have a final before the final until we get to later on in this thing. So I do think that they manipulated ways to try and make sure that, okay, we want to make sure France goes far. We want to make sure England goes far. We want to make sure even the States as the host country, we want to make sure it goes a bit far. I do think that they manipulated matters in that way. After all, it's entertainment, right? Is FIFA saying Messi's our golden boy, so all referees must protect him? I don't think so. But it's okay. Let's have the debate. Lol, ha ha ha. The reason why we can't have the debate is because if I just scroll on social media, all the top meme accounts, all the top football accounts, all the top posting highlights from the game accounts, all of them are saying the same thing. Almost word for word, bar for bar. I'm like, okay, now there's clearly a PR campaign here. So now, even if it was true that there might be some bias, we can't have a normal conversation because of this PR campaign. That's an overdrive.
Yeah. I would agree with you. I've been seeing, I woke up today because I've been busy past few days, and I woke up to 150 messages in the sports group. I was like, hey guys, continue.
It's World Cup
okay.
semifinals, Phil. What do you expect?
Okay. But I think you've touched on a point, and I think it's a Benjamin Franklin saying that says 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. And I always go back to that principle a lot when I think about these grand conspiracies.
100%.
Because a lot of the grand conspiracies we know of are because more than 2 people knew about them. And eventually,
it will come out.
Snitched,
yeah.
Or word got out. And I think because of that, even if you're doing corruption, there are ways that you do it smartly. And do I believe everything you just said 100%? Everything you said makes 100% sense. Do I believe that it may not be FIFA itself, it may not be Infantino, but especially with the prevalence of gambling and what's happening there, do I believe that referees are influenced to make certain decisions based on certain things? Yep. Do I believe all the time that influence is because of nefarious reasons? Not necessarily, but it's a subconscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're human at the end of the day. So I do think there's an impartiality, but that's also part of football. The reason why we actually watch any form of sport and why sometimes sports becoming more robotic becomes less interesting is because the debate or the intrigue is because a human is impartial. When a referee is giving one side harsher fouls or letting them go and another side more cards, that is part of the intrigue. It's been happening time and time again. And that may be because they just don't like that team and they don't admit it. Like one of those players might have said something to him 3 matches ago. That's another thing people don't forget. Huh? Sometimes these players cuss out the refs. And these refs are human beings. And it's like, I'll see you again. Don't worry. And I think people forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
or you hinted at, or it could be a positive sort of like Man, when I was 12 years old, I remember seeing Messi blasting onto the scene. Now here I am, I'm in my late 20s, I'm 30 years old, I'm a referee, and this guy was amazing. I loved him so much. But you tell yourself, no, I'm going to be impartial. Then you're now in the game. Nah, he wouldn't have committed a foul. You know what I mean? So the bias can exist in a human being.
And there's also these unspoken rules, especially like in American sports, but I think it's also here, where unknown players don't get the calls.
Yeah.
The superstars get the calls. That may be because of discussions in the back room. It may be because of that bias you just highlighted that, I'm a big fan of LeBron, a big fan of Messi, I'm a big fan of Ronaldo. So am I always going to give them the benefit of the doubt? Yes. And then also at the back of the mind, you're also thinking like, I've got to think about what stress and anxiety I'm willing to take on. If I see Messi do a studs-up tackle in minute 2 and I send him off, I am going to deal with 2 weeks of hell. My house is going to be exposed. My kids won't be able to go to school. I'm going to have to submit a report. I'm going to have to do press. It's going to be it's fine. I didn't see the foul. Or, yellow card. And you go speak to me like, listen, my guy, listen, please, come on. But if it's some guy from Bafana, get off the field. Get out of here, darky.
So allow me to, I went at length on this in the group, but allow me to try and also share with the podcast. We cannot be binary. Life is not yes, no, black, white, 1-0. There's such a huge range of nuance. So it's possible not just two, but multiple things can be true at once. And that's the problem with these conspiracy theories. Did Argentina win because FIFA is favoring it because Messi is the golden boy? I don't think the answer is yes. Is there corruption in FIFA? Is there perhaps a bias towards Messi? Maybe. Were some refs giving them favorable calls? Yeah, in some cases, yeah, but in others, no. Is it just towards Argentina? Definitely not. In fact, England were accused of getting a lot of calls in their favor against Norway. So is FIFA liking both England and Argentina? So what happens when they face each other? Or is it the one they like more? England, by the way, were winning. Some theories are saying, no. Even Tuchel himself is part of the conspiracy. Because
now we've gone to
So my point is, we can't even have a conversation about it because the conspiracy theories are in such full swing. Why can't we just have a normal conversation with, but referee was biased? That's a different conversation to, FIFA and Infantino are doing, okay, come on. Now we can't have a real conversation because you now believe the earth is flat and the moon is made of cheese. Do you know what I mean?
And there's so many examples of actual corruption by Infantino.
Yes.
Like when his boy blew up his spot and said, I phoned him, told him change your rules, this, that, the third, get Balagu
like
back in the game.
In front of our eyes. We saw it in front of our eyes. There's the corruption there. Now, here's what's going to happen. Chances are there will be something. A ref somewhere will have been bribed and people will be like, proof, I told you. It's a 1, not a 0. It's black, not white. No, guys, there's so much nuance involved here. If you believe the refs are biased towards Argentina, that's okay. Maybe. Others can believe the opposite. But you know what? I put it to you that it is possible that you may have been influenced by this PR campaign. If you feel you as a fan of Liverpool, me as a fan of Arsenal, we can watch the same game and we can both genuinely believe, no lying, no what, we can both genuinely believe we played better than you. We can both genuinely believe, but the ref was against us. Why? Because that's how bias works, right? That's how cognitive biases work. So if I am able to convince you by repeatedly saying it over and over, all your favorite creators, all your meme creators, all your YouTubers, everyone is saying, but FIFA is favoring Messi. Then look, now everything you see will look like that. Man, I watched that Argentina-England game. I was relatively neutral, though I was kind of supporting England. I saw nary, not even a hint of favoritism from that ref. In fact, I thought, ref is kind of holding Argentina back a bit. But I saw other people were saying, ref was favoring Argentina. So I was like, damn, we watched the same thing and saw different things. I was probably biased. You were probably biased. We were both biased watching that. So for me, it's like, you guys don't buy into the campaign. It's okay. You can watch and you can say, nah, I think the ref is. It's okay. That's fine. I'm not even disputing that. That's your experience. That's what you're seeing. But be aware that the world is not 1-0. Black, white, binary. This and that. So many things can be true at once. And it's possible that the smallest things can be amplified. You can just see it from the info that's going around, man. The videos that are going around, the angles. You know what? I saw multiple big creators posting about, was it the second goal? I think it was the second goal where people were saying Messi was offside. I'm like, dude, I'm looking at this with my bare eyes. I can see that he is miles onside. But multiple accounts are posting the same thing with the same picture and the same angle, same frame, same talking point. I was like, nah, I'm sorry. This smells like a coordinated campaign to me. Anyway, the final is going to be interesting. I hope Yamal takes the crown from Messi, but I'm not going to lie. If I see the GOAT doing GOAT things, I can't help but feel a smile come up on my face.
No, I agree. I think, and that's the other thing is, I would be heartbroken if it came out that Messi was a racist. But
I actually don't want to know.
I mean, the odds are very high.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yo,
chances are
like,
he's had a black bun burger.
Argentina don't even have a black towel, boy, yo.
Yeah. Okay, Phil. Here's a quick question I wanna throw at you. So I came across this in the Herald.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
Apparently, the Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture Minister Anselm Sanyatwe said that the Zim government is developing a digital platform for artist copyrights. Says, we have commissioned a baseline assessment of the digital music sector to identify priority areas and solutions. We're studying the digital music sector to see what needs fixing. We want to make sure our creatives can earn money online from their music and art to stop others from stealing their work without permission. So apparently, the government is building some digital platform. I'm a little confused because what is that? What is that platform? I don't understand what it's supposed to be. So I was gonna ask, is there a similar platform that exists in other markets?
Yes, Zimbabwe is one of the founding members of ARIPO. We are a member of WIPO. You can register your trademark and copyright through those platforms, and it will be recognized in Zimbabwe. We don't need this. We need enforcement. We don't need another platform. There are people who are stealing copyright right now.
So what? Okay, what would the platform be? What is this digital platform? What is it supposed to be? Does it host the music?
It's literally to replicate. So in America, for example, with the Copyright Board and with the Library of Congress, if you register a new work and you have a copyright on it, right, a song, a book, whatever, you submit it to them and you say, "This is my new work. I would like to register copyright." So that if anyone reproduces it, steals it, you have proof that this is my work. It's been verified by the Copyright Board.
Yes. But I mean,
in theory, I totally understand and get that. In theory, should Zimbabwe have one? Yes, but
why would it would it be per country? Surely it's more maybe per region or even
this
global.
Is why I'm saying. So per country, it would be ideal. But because of scaling, we do have a per region through ARIPO and WIPO. These are intellectual property organizations that assist with this very problem. And they already have portals that assist with this very problem. So what problem are we trying to solve here? We do not have an issue with registering copyright in Zimbabwe. That's not an issue. We register copyright fine here. The issue is protecting the copyright, which is a totally different case. That's a level of enforcement. And maximizing the exploitation of that copyright to the benefit of the artist. That's another issue. Those are the big ones, I would say. The ship is sinking. It's flooded with water. And all the artists and the creators and the writers are on it and they're gasping for air. And you come along with, that snake, that floaty snake that you put in the pool. And you're like, "Here, guys, this will help. Yeah, not really.
Yeah, not the great. Anyway, this was just a quick throwaway story. Next story, quick one. ZBC have just launched their over-the-top streaming platform, a competitor to Netflix. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video were found shaking in their boots because Z Plus has launched. It's an app and also a platform. Apparently, there's a TV app as well. I haven't seen the TV app.
Yeah, it's literally happening in our group as we speak. We're getting live reactions to our listeners watching the platform.
Yep.
Oh, I'm laughing because I know this UX. I know this UX very well.
The UX, yeah, it's very.
I know this UX very well.
It's very apparent. By the way, every Zim government platform has the ChatGPT/Claude Code UX. It's very, but anyway, it is what it is. It's fine. What ifs. So it's you can watch live TV. We have 3 I didn't even know we have 3 channels. You know that?
Neither did I.
There's Jive TV, which is a music channel. We have News 24, which is a 24-hour news channel. I was like, damn, Zimbabwe has 24-hour news. So I opened it and it was showing me Russia Today, and I was like, oh, okay. I think Jive TV is just music videos back to back. I just opened it now and it's got Takura on here. Cool. So yeah, and then we have ZBC TV, which is the standard one. And then you also have a bunch of stuff on demand. Well, a few sprinklings of stuff on demand. So Paraffin season 1, Gringo season 1 is also here. I think Gringo season 2, Gringo season 1 and 2, Mukadota season 1, Mtiro Wafanza season 1, Ezom Gido, season 1. Season 1 of Ezom Gido. Was this with Teach Matthias?
Oh, snap! Oh, no, that's not that. That's dope.
Let me check this out. Hey! Throwback.
Okay, wait. I don't know what's happening with mine. Mine's not loading. Is it because
Anyway, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's the interface is quite let's call it functional. And it works. Everything on demand plays, even the live TV plays, but I was getting it a bit stuttery at some point. So check it out. Z Plus, if you want to download the app. If you want to you can even just watch it on the web app. Just search for ZBC Live or ZBC OTT, whatever. Okay, there's a couple other stories, but I'm going to skip them. I just want to talk about movies before we wrap up, Phil.
Are you going to the Odyssey?
So I haven't seen it showing anywhere in Sim yet.
It's unfortunate.
I am very much looking forward to it. But yeah, that's the big movie of the month. As we're recording,
Of the year, Dan.
I believe today is global premiere, the day of recording or the day of listening of the Odyssey. But all the pre-screenings and pre-reviews apparently are top movie. Everyone is like, this is amazing. But obviously, as you can expect, when first there was news that Lupita Nyong'o was going to be Helen of Troy, so beautiful that she launched 1,000 ships. A lot of people were like, hey, blacks. Then, in the Christopher Nolan addressed this, right? So Christopher Nolan is the director of the Odyssey. So typically, when you look at period pieces about the classical period, there's an expectation that everyone has a British accent. I don't understand why, but that's just what has become normal, right? So in Christopher Nolan's movie, everyone is talking in their normal accent. There's people with American accents. So I think a lot of people were like, whoa. Also, there were a lot of people like, history purists like, hey, they wouldn't have dressed exactly like that. And
wait, once again, sorry.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
The one more thing I'll tell you.
I can't contain myself.
This one is the one that I found the most ridiculous. So apparently, in one of the preview clips, I think it's Tom Holland who's referencing someone. He calls someone dad, and people were like, "What the hell? Yeah, dad." No one in that time period would have said the word dad. They would have said father. And then so Christopher Nolan came out and said like, "Yo, they wouldn't have been speaking English either. Like, relax, bro. The idea is, yes, this is a period piece about that time, but you don't have to put on all this extra stuff. But yes, go on.
Oh, God. My head hurts sometimes. I think like everything is a psyop, and we stupidly just get involved.
Life is just rage baiting.
Yo, okay, you know what, Dan? I think it's fair to say you and I aren't exactly history buffs. You know, it's not our field of expertise. We don't have degrees in it.
Speak for yourself, Philip. I studied classics in school, the classical Greek studies, as an actual subject.
Okay, so I'm here with an expert. So you would help me, Dan. What's the Odyssey about?
The Odyssey is a fever dream written by Homer. By the way, Homer doesn't. Well, I suppose we can't know.
Exactly.
We can't know 100% for sure. But Homer doesn't exist. Homer is.
Homer is possibly an amalgamation of different philosophers and poets of the time. And once again, the Odyssey is a fictional tale. It's a poem. It literally is a poem, a fictional story written by a character who themselves may have been fictional. So it's a double amalgamation of fiction. It may be one of the oldest pieces of fiction we know of, but fiction nonetheless. People that want to apply historical accuracies to a fictional tale that has been chopped and changed so much. Can you imagine how much broken telephone has happened since the creation of the Odyssey?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
You guys are weird.
I agree with that premise. I can understand why some people would say, look, the whole point of adapting original material is there's people who are already fans of this. That's why you're not making an original story. You are hoping to capture the existing fans of this piece of work. So you can expect that if you change it, people will be like, why are you changing something that I like? So I'm not mad at people initially feeling.
What's the other version?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I'm not mad at people feeling a resistance to changing something that they love. But, that's the whole purpose of an adaptation, man. Just go watch the original if that's what you want. So anyway, I'm very excited to see Odyssey.
Go find it. I'm sure the originals close in the British Museum because they steal everything. And just read those.
For the record, before the reviews, the people that they when they do pre-screenings and early releases, there's a lot of embargoes about talking about the movie, so people didn't know if it was good or not. The moment that embargo lifted, everyone was like 10 out of 10, 100%. This is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm not exaggerating. The reviews are insanely good.
I was watching a double toasted review just before this, and they were also like, "Yo, it's incredible."
Some people are saying, do you know how crazy this is, Phil? A lot of respected people are saying this might be Christopher Nolan's best work ever. That's huge.
I think I'm gonna see it on Monday. I'm gonna try to see it on Monday.
I'm just sad that we're not going to see it as intended on IMAX.
I think I can. I think I'll be able to watch it on IMAX. Let me double check.
Yeah, even if you have access to it, is it available?
What do you mean?
Apparently, it's like sold out for weeks at all that because there's only very few. Okay, first of all, there's 70mm IMAX, right? Which is, I believe there's only like 40 something global cinemas that have that are 70mm IMAX. I don't even know what that means. So anyway, point is, I'll just have to watch it on as Christopher Nolan intended on my Apple Watch. So
no, I'm thinking available. Wait, okay, no, wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out this Technical South Africa website. It's showing me all the showings. It's not. Oh, there we go. Oh, why is this IMAX also?
I swear, if they don't show this movie in Zim, I will be so mad. No, come on. Even if it's not in IMAX, it's okay. Let's see.
I'm looking. There's so many listings available. Then
let's see
IMAX.
Come on. It's not a Roadhouse Cinema doesn't have it.
I'm looking at it right now, dog. I've already booked my tickets for IMAX on Monday.
Ish. I have a meeting with my man's on Monday. I think we'll just say, listen, let's have the meeting at Roadhouse Cinema. No, it's not showing at Roadhouse. Come on, man.
We are going to watch the Odyssey.
What about the other place? What is it? What's it called? Platinum what? What's it called? Platinum
Entertainment.
Platinum Entertainment. Hey, will I drive to Westgate to watch a movie? For the Odyssey,
Yes.
I think I might do it.
Of course you can. Why are you wasting time of our listeners? You know you.
Is that where we went to watch Superman? Where did we watch Superman, by the way?
Yes, we went to Westgate. We traveled. That was like 40 minutes of driving, if not more.
Bro, even Platinum is not showing. Guys, come on, man.
Dan, I'm literally looking at us. Dude, I've got all the seats.
This is so cool. I can't wait. I would love to watch it in full 70mm IMAX. Also, you see, Christopher Nolan's not going to get the full.
I'm watching it in IMAX.
Okay, so excited to see Odyssey. Are you going to watch Moana live action, Phil?
Okay, I know you're trolling me, but no. Dude, it's so bad. My nieces, who, whenever they'd come to my house, the number one request was Moana. When Moana 2 came out, pandemonium, took them to the cinemas. They had a great time. I haven't heard a peep from them about this movie. And I'm like, at least these children are learning discernment. I'm proud of them.
So the live action Moana starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, apparently made with a $250 million budget, opened last week. First week, 43 million domestic, which was way below what they were hoping, and is apparently going to be a flop.
And for that, I have this critical response that I'm very well measured, detailed. I actually wrote an essay about it, and I think I'll just give you guys an excerpt from that essay. Good butter. Thank you.
Why?
How do we start? Let's start with. I think it's a conflation of several things that I've been really frustrated with from multiple parties.
Mm-hmm.
One is Disney. Disney has become incredibly lazy, and they stumbled upon this formula of making live action remakes of classical Disney tales. And in the beginning, it kind of made sense, because we watched those movies as children on VHS. If we lived in a normal economy at this juncture, we would have children who we'd then take to the movies and introduce them to the same thing that we fell in love with. So we'd know the songs, so we'd have a great nostalgia and have fun at the cinema, and the kids would have fun at the cinema. But it became very clear very early on that live action doesn't capture the magic of the animation, right?
Mm.
But we kind of gritted our teeth and bared it until we couldn't do it anymore, right? And for me, I think the last straw was Aladdin. Lion King was absolute basura to me. Terrible. Like, the animals had no emotion. They looked weird. I fell asleep like twice during the movie. Hated it. Especially considering the fact that the first movie I ever owned on VHS was Lion King. Hated that nonsense. Then obviously there was that debacle with Snow White and everything that came with that. It also would have helped if one of your main actors could actually act. Story for another day. We'll move on. So
What do you mean? I am the queen. I am the queen, and I will not have anyone else.
I love how your Israeli accent became Indian at the end.
I'm sorry, I don't have that much experience.
But so that was already. So I think around Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, things started falling apart, right? On top of that, you've got the laziness of Disney, where before they had shy. They were like, listen, let's take movies that are 20 years plus older so we can introduce them to a new audience. And they went through everything from Dumbo to Pinocchio, Snow White, like the full gamut.
I'm not mad at the concept of live action.
Let me get to where the nonsense started.
Mm.
Moana 2, the animated version, came out 18 months ago. Moana, which came out 5-6 years ago now, the kids that love Moana are still kids. They can still watch Moana. So who is this movie for?
Also,
The people that saw Moana 1 and Moana 2 wrecking our numbers, they were like, it's not for me. They were like, no, we've done a real version. Now you can actually see The Rock in all his real, well, actually not real anymore because he lost all his muscles, fake muscles. Huh?
I don't know. There's like there's a little bit of a good butter feeling I have as well, because I feel like there was a feeling of entitlement here. A feeling of, you just stick The Rock on it, it'll be all good.
Not only that, whatever we put out, they will watch. We don't care.
Yeah. As animation
Also,
goes, so goes the company. That should.
And this is the thing. Like it's especially it's super worse when you're doing it with a musical, especially a musical with magic and these fantastical things. Because like Moana has these big dance numbers with incredible dance that integrates with the magic and the pomp and ceremony and all that stuff. And you can't translate that to real life, man.
So
it was just dumb all around. Disney, and then The Rock. The Rock has been. I saw a video earlier today, and they were listing all of The Rock's movies since the pandemic.
Yes, I saw. I think I saw that same video.
It's been a bad run, yo. And the annoying thing is, if you remember when The Rock first left the WWE, he deliberately was taking really challenging acting roles or trying to show that he had acting range, and then he just gave up.
Just coming back to Moana, right? So 250 million production budget. Rule of thumb is if the production budget is 250 mil, the movie budget is double that, right? Mm-hmm. Although I get the feeling that they spent less on promotion, on marketing. But anyway, if we use the rule of thumb,
because they knew they had a flop on their hands.
For this movie to break even, it needs to sell 500 mil. It needs to gross 500 mil. Although, wait, hold on. Because then part of that money belongs to the theaters. So I don't know. Anyway, just using that rule of thumb, it needs to gross 500 mil. After the first week, it's 106 mil. Chances are it's not going to hit that 500 mil. So it's going to be a loss. It's not going to break even. I think it might not even break even on production budget alone. Shame. Sorry, guys. I think the superstar movies are no longer a thing. What I'm also looking forward to is the next Spider-Man. So that's cool. Coming out soon. End of this month. Premiere date is 31 July. Zendaya and Tom Holland have been working hard. Shout out to them. They've been all over my timeline. I like those guys, man. I like seeing them. It just makes me feel like you just feel so wholesome, the two of you. But you never know what people are doing in their homes. All right, Phil, that's what I have. One last thing, just as a quick sort of tech ombudsman mention. This past week, OpenAI released GPT 5.6.
Oh, yes. I actually wanted to touch on this. But yes, continue, please.
Yeah, so this is their new flagship model. It comes in 3 flavors. Sol, which is supposed to be the flagship, most powerful model. Terra, which is the mid, and Luna. Look at that, think of that as, for example, Opus.
iPhone 17 Pro.
Yeah, well, I'm using so like Pro, Flash, that kind of thing. So Sol, Luna, Terra. So this is their competition to Fable. The reviews it's apparently very good. Some people say it's better than Fable. Others say no, Fable's still the king. I think honestly, they'll probably be both at roughly the same level. But because of this release, there's been pressure on Fable was planning to turn off. I'm just realizing if you're not using this, then this will sound like crazy to you. Okay. So Anthropic offers monthly subscriptions. You can pay $20 a month to get access to a certain amount of tokens per month. Fable is extremely heavy token-wise, but when it was released, it was available to everyone who was paying $20 a month, or even if you're paying $100 a month or $200 a month. But then Anthropic said that this is such an expensive model to run that we are turning it off for subscriptions. If you pay a Claude subscription, you'll only get access to Opus and Sonnet and Haiku, those models. Fable will only be token billing per token billing. So you don't get a subscription per month. You pay as you go. Which obviously everyone was like, well, that basically means like only rich people are going to use it because it's going to be insanely expensive. Now that 5.6 GPT 5.6 launched, and it is by some accounts just as good, if not better than Fable. And it is available via subscriptions. It is cheaper. They claim it's 4 times cheaper because they say that it's half the price and is twice as efficient. So it's 4 times cheaper, which, I mean, that sounds like marketing, but anyway. Anthropic were then like, guys, psych, we're not cutting it off the subscriptions. Y'all stick around. We're extending free subscriptions for 1 week. Then they're like, okay, we're extending it for another week. The rumors are now that Anthropic is furiously working on Opus 5, which will then be part of the subscriptions. Then Fable will just remain as tokenized billing. But I sincerely doubt they'll do that because the moment they take Fable off the table, ChatGPT will, because you just use ChatGPT. Because if you're telling me that I'm going to use an inferior model when I can just pay ChatGPT the same amount per month and I get the superior model, why would I do that? So it's a fascinating time right now. The second thing I was going to say is, listen, guys, these companies have designed their marketing to make you feel FOMO. So if you're sitting here feeling, there's these powerful AI tools and I should be using them because, otherwise I'll be part of the permanent underclass. That's by design. You're supposed to feel FOMO because it's the most powerful technology that's come out. So if you're not using it, then you're going to fall behind and you're going to be broken. You're going to be a slave. You're going to be a serf to the future, overlords. What? So you better be using it now. Maximize as much as possible. That's marketing is designed to make you feel that way. So I even catch myself sometimes like, I should be doing something with Fable before they turn it off. I have to. Like, relax, bro, relax. Yes, it is a powerful technology. Yes, use it, but calm down. This is all marketing. Relax. So I just wanted to mention that as well. You were about to say something, Phil, about the launch of GPT 5.6.
No, I've been following the news about this, and I've been seeing. Obviously, off air we discussed the story of how an AI booster on social media was given an early access to Soul. Had his whole hard drive wiped when it ran an RMRF protocol in terminal.
There's
of the belief that
there's multiple stories like that, Phil. And my belief is that these are paid campaigns. Everything is a paid campaign. I'm seeing shadows everywhere.
Yeah. But what I also found interesting, also breaking this week, was the big story of the Apple lawsuit against OpenAI. So for those of you that don't know, Apple has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, accusing them of corporate espionage and stealing trade secrets to build a competing AI hardware device. Apple claims OpenAI hardware division is rotten to its core. For those that don't have the context, OpenAI recently partnered with Apple a few years ago to partner with Siri, and making a lawsuit a shocking betrayal. Also, as a caveat to this, there was a long-standing employee of Apple who was so trusted and beloved in the organization that when he told them, hey guys, I'm resigning, they're like, okay, cool, but you need to train your successor. So we're not locking you out of the systems. Keep your device, but please train your successor. So for several months, this person trained his successor. And apparently when he left with his Apple computer, which had proprietary information on it. Then to make it even worse, he started contacting Apple employees and saying, yo, do you want to come get a job over here? And by the way, bring some of the stuff you're working on. And I was like, and they were like, wait, what? Are we allowed to do that? I was like, yeah, shh. Don't tell anyone. Just come over for this interview.
Allegedly.
And bring some of the hardware that you've been thinking. Which is wild because considering the multiple times that Apple has had hardware leak from their campus, I'm pretty sure they now track their stuff really closely. So if this is true, OpenAI are in for a world of hurt. And this had me thinking, Dan, have you noticed that Sam Altman doesn't seem to maintain business relationships pretty well?
Yep.
I mean, he beefed with Elon, obviously, but, makes sense. Because remember, Elon was part of OpenAI, then he left. Then he had that whole issue with the board and that happening. Then he had the issue with a brother and sister duo who may be doing well for themselves. I don't know, Jan. Have you heard of them? They run a company that does AI as well. Familiar with them?
The Amadeus.
Yes, those guys. So they left. They're now his biggest competition. And then he partnered with Nvidia. Jensen Huang doesn't seem too happy with Sam Altman right now. Then they partnered with Microsoft. And Microsoft gave them all those billions of dollars worth of credits and Azure credits and inference and then even bought equity in the company. But all of a sudden, they don't seem too happy with OpenAI, even to the extent that Microsoft is now using who as the AI partner, which is weird. What's his name again? Sorry, what is that name you mentioned earlier, Dan?
Dario Amadeo?
Yes, yeah. They're going through Anthropic. Microsoft recently partnered with Anthropic. So,
yeah. I mean, everyone's partnering with everyone, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's fallen apart. And then now you have this massive partnership with Apple, which obviously fell apart because Apple then ended up partnering with Google. But now they're suing you too. It's almost like he's a repeated scammer.
Yeah, he does. But you know what, Phil? Even when you see him talking, don't you just feel like, don't you just start instinctively holding your wallet? That's how I feel when I watch him speak, Sam Altman.
Whenever I watch him speak, I'm trying to look for the hole in the back so I can get a pin and reset him.
Pause. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap it up here.
Also, SpaceX is down 40%.
That's what I want to say good butter to, because I know you guys were gaslighting us. The most obvious thing in the world. But anyway.
100 P/E ratio. People are mad, yo.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode. You're welcome for this bumper episode. And apologies for missing last week. But
no apologies, they must pay.
Yeah. If you please just drop a DM, we'll give you the EcoCash number, or you use World Remit where you are. It's easy, don't worry. It's precious, Derek. But yeah, listen, we'll catch you in the next one. And I think that's pretty much it.
We out.